morning.
Morning.
Good morning. I'm Alan Kalin, president of Mount Diablo Cyclists. I would like to welcome you here today for the memorial for Joe Shami. I have a few announcements before we begin. For COVID guidance, we ask that you wear a mask and keep an appropriate social distance. If you need a mask, Trek has extra masks. Special thanks for all the amazing support that Trek has given today. We could not have done it. And Linda Kwong for providing these amazing bracelets. And also Marissa Belcha for arranging the bagpiper, which you'll hear in a minute. Amazing Grace to honor Joe.
In the fall of 2017, I met Joe cycling up Mount Diablo. We were wearing matching green Mount Diablo State Park jerseys, so we were twins, and took a photo sitting together at Summit. God, he was cute. Sweet and 83 years young. At that time, I learned Joe had already climbed 488 consecutive weeks to the summit. Who was this mystery man, and why had I never seen him before? Ended up, Joe usually rode on Sundays, but he happened to be there on a Wednesday, the day of the week I was usually there. I called Alan Kalin and told him about Joe. The rest is history. During 2018, I organized 2 celebration rides for Joe, 500 consecutive weeks and 10 straight years, both to Summit. Joe couldn't believe the support, admiration, and attention he received from those 2 events. I mean, after riding 9+ years without missing a week and not really being noticed, he must have been perplexed as to why we were all going crazy over him. Obvious to us about the craziness, a bit uncomfortable for him, all wonderful for the cycling community. For Joe, being kissed on each cheek by 2 beautiful women during his 10-year celebration was like winning the Tour de France. the magic of Joe Shami? What was it about him that drew you to him, made you want to see him, be photographed with him? Why did it excite you when he was around? Joe gave us hope. And when I say us, I mean people in their 20s, 40s, 60s, and even 80s. When we see someone in their mid-80s doing what we love to do now, and we are younger, fit, and strong, it tells us our future has great physical and mental potential. We know that because we had an idol, a person in our neighborhood who was having fun, being active, smiled, and engaged with us. We all have the potential to be like Joe. And as long as he was cycling and being an ambassador to you and me, life was better than good. It was great. How can't you be happy knowing about a guy in his mid-80s who could ride to the summit once a week, and at 86, switch to riding 25 to 50 miles a day thereafter? That's why I say we all have great potential, and it was confirmed by Joe's example. Joe would have been 87 in 4 months, and if you had asked me on April 12th, the day before he was struck by a car at 6:45 a.m., if there was anything that could stop him, I would have said no. I know myself and the rest of you may never recover from him being taken away so soon when he had so much more time and quality of life to enjoy. Over the years, we became best friends. What was it like to ride with Joe? Fun, because he rode at a steady pace, loved to talk, often told stories, once sang childhood war songs, said hello to everyone, and appreciated all the good things about the rides and rarely complained about the bad, except maybe the earwigs near Summit that were usually thick in your clothes after arriving home. A typical ride, either on the mountain or out on the roads, involved someone yelling, "Hi, Joe!" and he giving a hearty, "Hello!" back, like he knew the person. That was followed up by me getting asked, "Who was that?" And I'd always say, "I don't know, everybody knows who you are." For all of you who shouted out a hello to him over the years, know that he wished he knew your name and really appreciated your friendliness. Facts about Joe: his only pill was a men's Centrum Silver multivitamin. His legs were slightly different in length. He wore 2 different sizes of shoes. His cycling shoes were leather CDs. His water bottles contained just that, water. His greatest discoveries during COVID rides was finding an opened restroom. His only fuel was Goo Roctane Blueberry Pomegranate Gel, which I saw on the table back there. He used an Ergo Brain for recording cycling data. What is that? He often ate 1 egg for breakfast. He liked sardines, orange marmalade from England, English muffins, lasagna, and avocados, sometimes eating 2 at one sitting. He shopped at Trader Joe's, where his biggest complaint was they always discontinued something he got hooked on. At Safeway, where he'd stock up on frozen meals by Boston Market. He cut his own lawn, sawed down trees, hauled wood, and moved trash cans for his neighbors. Once his cell phone number was transferred to someone else because he never used it that year. Don't let Joe's death stop you from keeping the hope. Continue using him as your inspiration that you can be active and healthy well into your 80s. It doesn't matter if you started 20 years ago or if you start today. You can be like Joe. Believe that Joe has risen to the skies to watch over us and continue his legacy by sharing your stories about him so that his love for us will shine as brightly as the sun. You will always be in my heart, my loving best friend, Joe Shami.
As I stand here this morning and look out at the audience, I see Joe's friends who have come to honor him, the legend of Mount Diablo. Looking out among you, I see Joe standing next to you with those blue eyes, bright smile, and humble, gracious personality. I feel Joe's presence here today. I feel his inspiration, and I see his love for all of you. And I feel his love that he has for you. Joe loved to ride his bike. Joe was my friend. Joe was your friend. If a man's worth could be measured in friends and the love they have for him, Joe would be a very wealthy man. What would Joe say if he were here today? He would probably say, "Why is everyone making such a fuss over me? I'm just a man who rides a bicycle. I'm not the best climber or the fastest rider." Yes, Joe was just a man who rode a bicycle. But Joe was no ordinary Joe. Over the years, he inspired thousands of people throughout the Bay Area to do more than they ever thought they could do. His dogged determination was something to behold when you rode with Joe. When Joe set a goal, he was focused and determined. Many years ago, when Joe first began riding up Mount Diablo once a week, few people knew who he was or what he was trying to accomplish. Back then, Joe was a quiet, determined man who rode his bike up Mount Diablo once a week, regardless of the weather. Joe would put his head down and just keep pedaling. Joe loved Mount Diablo, and he especially loved the cyclists he met on his journey over the years pedaling up the mountain. On several occasions, I was with Joe on the mountain, and a cyclist would come up and say, "You're Joe. Wow, you're Joe. You motivated me to get in shape. You inspired me to ride up the mountain. May I take a photo with you?" Joe would smile, a little bit embarrassed. And so, the legend of Mount Diablo began. If Joe can do it, I can do it. Over the years, he met, motivated, and inspired countless cyclists, hikers, and joggers to ride, walk, and run up Mount Diablo. Or when they met Joe, they realized, if Joe can do it, I can do it. Joe was a humble man who just loved to ride a bike. Over time, that humble man became the legend of Mount Diablo. When you're riding your bike up the summit, up Summit Road, and you're just above Juniper Campground at 3,000 feet on a 10% grade, and you're tired, and you're exhausted, and you're feeling sorry for yourself, and you're thinking about stopping. Everyone's nodding their head. That's good. Ask yourself, what would Joe do? Joe would just keep turning the pedals. One pedal stroke at a time. Joe would enjoy the journey. And he would say, "You meet the nicest people riding a bicycle." In closing, I challenge everyone here this morning to honor Joe by riding for Joe. Every time you ride up Mount Diablo and you use one of those amazing bike turnouts that he fought so hard to get installed, remember Joe. And in so doing, the legend of Mount Diablo will continue through you. Thank you.
Thank you, Al.